we're doing a couple talks. Two involve zombies. We're doing one with Alex Hutton on security metrics are Bunk. And the subtitle is The Zombie Apocalypse, Baseball, and Security Metrics. And that's going to be a lot of fun because when I was fighting with him over, are we ever going to have evidence-based decision support and actuarial tables for InfoSec, a lot of people think we will, and I just really don't think we will. I think it's more like, the chaos of a zombie apocalypse. You need to have a survival instinct and don't become complacent and check boxes and follow best practices and things like that. So, baseball's a useful bridge because Alex actually agrees with me. He does a lot of great work with Verizon with his reward. He's very intellectually honest about the data. He doesn't use it capriciously like many others do. So he's likening this to, baseball scouts used to go on gut or instinct and they'd look for certain. Remember the baseball cards when we were kids? They had like a couple little stats. It turned out that those stats weren't actually the most important for winning. So that Moneyball book came out and they hired some Stanford statisticians. So what we're showing is, even though people want actuarial tables, I want to first use the zombie apocalypse as a metaphor for how we should handle an ever-changing threat landscape, technology platform landscape, economic climate, business changes. And it's more about being situationally aware and adapting and using your wits and making decisions on the fly, like an OODA loop.
So when the zombies are closing in on your location, you're not consulting a checklist to say, okay,
you're not asking your QSA.
Right.
Here's a good example. So the Verizon Business Report 3 years ago said one of the high-level pieces of advice was patch faster, because some of the breaches involved vulnerabilities that I had a patch available for 12 to 18 months. Now, people misquote it and say it was 90%. It was actually 22%. By the following year, 6 of 90 of the breaches they investigated were patchable. And by the most recent one, 0 of the breaches were patchable. So
at the time of the breach.
At the time of the breach. So my assertion was the time it takes us to collect the data, analyze the corpus of data, create actionable advice, disseminate the advice, act upon the advice is stale. And I'm not saying stop patching, but we have so many uncontrollable and controllable variables that I use the zombie metaphor with Alex and others to try to show how it's really more about survival instinct and adaptation. And yes, smart people like Alex and I and others and Metricon folks should really be trying to pursue getting us from faith-based security to evidence-based and progress the art from chaos to proto-science or science at some point, but if that's even possible. But in the meantime, I've seen a complacent attitude from CISOs who are just doing what they're told and saying, well, we passed the audit, we don't have an extra budget, we did the best we could. So trying to offer alternatives that, in the meantime, here's an alternative look at strategy. So I made like a food guide pyramid for nutrition. I kind of made a survival guide. So if you look at security controls or a PCI list of products as a survival kit with no instructions, I tried to make a survival guide for the zombie apocalypse. It's the 3 little pigs. You have the straw house, the stick house, and the brick house. So I compare that to the zombies, and I say, all right, if you were being chased by the undead, would you want to fight for your life in your last stand in a dilapidated wooden barn? Hell no, I'll be going to that brick building. So the defensibility of our infrastructure is the single most important factor in your survival. And that's one of the reasons I did all the work with the rugged meme and trying to push that idea, because we kind of skip right past our infrastructures and environments and systems even defensible. So it's not just do you have a shotgun and a couple shells and a pitchfork and a baseball bat. It's, can you hold up? Zombies don't care what's in your wallet. They care what's in your brains, right?
That's right.
They're after our IP, and we're not protecting it. I don't think it's a technology. So in this food guide pyramid I made, or the zombie survival guide pyramid, I think the most actionable missing piece is increasing our visibility, right? So we have very specific anti-threat. I want more eyes and ears to catch the whispers and echoes of the more talented and elusive adversaries. So we look for IPS signatures, or we look for AV or whatnot, but I want more broad and generic visibility. So these might be these network forensics and network packet capture tools. It might be more augmentation, signature antivirus, but anything that can give me more light and surveillance. It's not even that I expect I can prevent these attacks. It's that I want to know how I got attacked so that I can adjust going forward. Because we're just fighting blind right now. So if you're going to fight zombies, make sure you have some light so you're not fighting in the dark. So I would prioritize that. I think what is going to happen instead is the mainstream phenomenon around things like WikiLeaks or the scares around espionage are going to cause more people to buy security, but it won't be better security. They're going to come in new buyers or panicked buyers doing a knee-jerk, and they're going to flood to the most popular DLP type solutions, even if it's not the most effective or robust. So I was talking to several DLP vendors this week, and they're really excited about all this mainstream fervor that's going to drive new business for them. And I said, yeah, I think there will be more spending on DLP, but I don't think it's necessarily going to go to the elite and robust products. I think it's going to go to the most popular products. Not that they're mutually exclusive, but I think we'll see more spending, but not better spending. I hope we don't do like TSA security, and every time there's a particular breach, we solve for that one breach type.
Right.
That's what I mean by we'll have spending, but it won't be intelligent.
Right.
So will people take a look at the fact that their current cadre and defenses are insufficient for this kind of a model, threat model? And it is a good chance for us to say, maybe we don't want to just tick the box. If we're going to bother spending our time on this, let's try to make sure it's robust and we're not just solving yesterday's problems tomorrow, like the TSA, but rather trying to think about what's a extensible, tenable, lasting strategy for dealing with what goes wrong. So clearly need to do something different, though. I think the degree to which we're doing the same thing this next year that we did this year is the degree